right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. There's not been much movement. I do know that there's at least one precinct that has come in, and they're in the process of tallying that right now. Now, we don't know yet if the walk-ins, absentee mail-ins, early voting, we don't know if that's going to be counted the beginning of the reporting or if it will be at the end of the reporting. So sometimes it's first, sometimes it's last. But this is the 2026 Bell County election results for the primary. There is another election in November. We had a lot of folks asking us how come certain names were not on the list. That's because they're not running. They're not running until November. That would be city council and that would be school board. And then there are some races that are not finished tonight. They're going to move on because, for example, the Middlesboro mayor has the top 2 vote getters. All right, so when it comes to all of the races, the ballots that you have seen, if you're in Knox County, Harlan County, Bell, Laurel, any county across the state, are going to be similar for the United States Senator and for United States Representative, 5th Congressional District for some counties. What it'll start off as for most of the counties will be your local races halfway down the page. Now, Knox County has a separate ballot for the senatorial race for Democrats. We'll get into that here in just a minute. Also, I have shared the WTUK stream. Sean Burnett and his crew from WTUK are doing the Harlan County results. I have also shared that the Mountain Advocate is covering the Knox County results. So I don't know timing on how their results come back. I know that that's a pretty big area for them as it is for us. Like, we have to wait on Frakes. Frakes is usually the last reporting precinct. So I don't know what it's going to be like for Harlan or Knox County, but here shortly we'll find out. So this is what we see on screen right now in our neck of the woods. And thank you again to our sponsors at the top of the screen: Fortner's Home Connection, Brooks Durham Funeral Home, and Bowling Law Office. What you are seeing is zeros all over the place. In the upper right-hand corner, you can't see it because I've zoomed in just a little bit so that you can see the full amount of numbers. I can't zoom in anymore because it would be out of focus, okay? So with that said, there are 0 out of 34 precincts reporting in. Although when I was downstairs just a minute ago getting the ballot so I could read it off to you, it looked like somebody had reported in. Now, that could have been the early voting. It could be the walk-ins for absentee. It could be the mail-ins. So I'm not sure exactly what they were tallying. But let me tell you who's been on the list for the state of Kentucky. Daniel Cameron, Jonathan Holliday, Andy Barr, Nate Morris, Dr. Val Frederick, A. Nick Shelley, James D. Duncan, Michael James Ferris, Anissa Catlett, Other Donald Wenzel, Jimmy L. Leon, and George Washington. Those are the folks that are up for United States Senator since Mitch McConnell has decided not to run for 5th Congressional District. United States Representative in Congress for 5th Congressional District is Kevin Smith, Benjamin Hurley, Hal Rogers, who is the incumbent, Jenny Lee Shelton, and Brandon Monholland. In Bell County, next on the ballot, you vote for 1, Property Valuation Administrator. Blake Charles Ramey is the challenger to incumbent Ben Barnett. County Judge Executive, you vote for 1. And I'm going to repeat what I said on the air today so I'm very clear. Rick Nelson, Albie Brock, the incumbent, Jeremy Killian, who is on the list, but he has dropped out. Why is he still on the list? There was a dropout date or a withdrawal date, okay? And all of this has to do with printing. It's very expensive to print all these ballots to get them into the system. There was a dropout date, and he exceeded that time, but he did withdraw 2 weeks ago? Yeah, 2 weeks ago. So for those who said that I was announcing that Albie Brock had dropped out. That's not correct. Had you would listen to the entire conversation, you would see I was talking about Jeremy Killian. Sheriff, you vote for one. Sheriff, you vote for one. Now, this is one of the races that will continue on to November because there's been a Democrat challenger. Sorry, independent challenger. On the ballot first was George Tudor Howard, incumbent Mitch Williams. Not on the ballot is Tommy Fusen, who'll face off against whoever wins this particular office in November. Jailer, you vote for one. Incumbent Barb Venable. This is how they appear on the ballot. Annie Jean Nierengarten, Tony Hobe Teague, Derek Fuzz Jones, Josh Collett. You vote for one for the coroner's race. Ethan Warren, first on the ballot. Jay Steele, incumbent. Magistrate, 1st District. This is covering Page, Blackmont, Brownies Creek, Hutch, Meldrum, and Laurel A. You have got Chris Webb, incumbent Eddie Saylor. Alan Lee. Burt Markham Jr., Clint Lonnie Schaffner, Tim Parton, and Johnny Thomas. Magistrate, 2nd Magisterial District. You vote for one. This is covering Pineville East, Weston Central, RJ, Dorton Branch, Beverly, Wright Fork, Straight Creek, and Lone Jack. Bruce Hendrickson, Michael Caldwell, Joseph Arthur Jordan, Jeremy Collett, Charles N. Collett, James Griffin, Keith Allen Cox. That's the incumbent. And Donnie Lefevers is the incumbent. Keith was running for constable at one time. My apologies. Constable, 2nd Magisterial District. You vote for one. David Lee Cox, Robert Daniels, or Tyler Langford. Magisterial District number 3. This is Binghamtown, Dorchester, Knowtown, Junction, and West Central. Ben Hatfield, Larry Apple Atkins, and Nicholas Allen Schaffner. Magistrate, 4th Magisterial District in Bell County. This covers City Hall, East End, Winchester, Southside, and Exeter. It's Kevin Barnett, Kenny Vanover, and Glenn Webb. Glenn is the incumbent. 5th Magisterial District, covering Laurel B, Greasy Creek, Clear Creek, Suddy, and Edgewood. That is going to be, yes, Donnie Sparks, Joe Hammondtree, the incumbent, John Trosper, Ronnie Fusen, and Stephen Robinson. Also on the ballot in Bell County, Democrat Party primary election for United States Senator, 5th Congressional District. Moving on to November, whoever wins out of Vincent Anthony Thompson, Amy McGrath, Dale Lewis Romans, Charles Booker, Pamela Stevenson, Joshua Blanton Sr., Logan Forsyth. Another race that will go to November, it's the top 2 vote getters. Once again, the top 2 vote getters in the City of Middlesboro mayor's race, covering Binghamtown, Dorchester, Knowtown, Junction, West Central, City Hall, East End, Winchester, Southside, and Exeter. It is incumbent Boone Bowling up against challengers Travis Moody and Michael Orr. All right, there are no issue-driven referendums on this ballot, and we still don't have any new numbers coming in. Now, let's say you're looking at this. I've not looked at any of the incoming messages, and you can't see what's on the screen. I cannot zoom in anymore due to, it's called a refresh rate, and it's 60 hertz per cycle. If we get any closer, what's going to happen is it's going to stream lines the closer we get. And I can't turn it up any brighter because that would cause out of focus on the information on the screen. So I'm sorry that's the way it looks, but I'll do my best to represent what the numbers are, okay? 0 out of 34 precincts reporting in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get off Bell County politics for just a second, Bell County numbers and things of that nature, and I'm going to go to Harlan County. So it's the same information in Harlan County for the United States Senator and for 5th Congressional District. Since Dan Mosley decided not to run again, you've got 4 people running in Harlan County for county judge. That's Mitch Alford, Robert Kreider, Colby Goss, and Paul Browning III. For jailer, incumbent B.J. Burkhart, and Glenn Merle Hensley Jr. is the challenger. You've got magistrate, First Magisterial District in Harlan, Reggie Raleigh, Ralph Allen Turner, Paul E. Caldwell, Matt Napier, Jason Collinger, Austin Miller. Constable, First District in Harlan, Tony No Hall, Juan Rivera, David Bug Hensley, Johnny Dale Joseph II. And the First Magisterial District covers Harlan, Baxter, Putney, Pine Mountain, and Bledsoe. Not a lot on their list, but still significant. Second Magisterial District in Harlan, Burl Fee Jr., Milt Saylor, Melton Middleton. We also have John Buell, Mark Stewart, Earl E. Canterbury, Derek Sage, Willard Wilkinson, covering Ages, Verdon, North Everts, South Everts, Britton's Creek, Shields, and Klondike. Third Magisterial District, John Fields and Jeff Wilder. And third Magisterial District for Constable is C. Wayne Creech and Isaac D. Pennington, covering Tots, Green Morris, Cumberland City Hall, Cumberland Black Motor East, Blair, Cumberland, New York, Benham, and Lynch, East Maine. Fifth Magisterial District, they don't have anything in the fourth. It's James Howard, Jack Simpson Jr., Wendell Lynn Jones, Brian Hale, and Robert Haywood and Owen Petrie are on the Constable Magisterial District 5. That's Loyal, Fresh Meadows, Wallens City Hall, Wallens School, Cold Iron, and Pathfork. So that is Harlan. I've got Knox, but let me just make sure that we don't have anything coming up here on the Bell County ballot. Nothing yet. So still a ways away. It's 6:33, and this is about the time that the numbers start rolling in. So let me go back to letting the folks on the screen see. Now look, if you can't see these numbers, I get it. Turn your phone to landscape. Don't look at it in portrait, because it's going to make it extremely small. Turn your phone to landscape. You won't be able to see any of the comments coming up, but that's not vital right now. Okay, sample ballot shows that in Knox County, they had, I'm just trying to keep an eye on both screens here, they had the same names in the 5th Congressional District for Congress and for Senator. The County Judge Executive, you vote for one in that one in Knox County. It's Mike Mitchell and Jeff Ketchum. For Sheriff, it's Bobby Jones and Mike Smith. And Mike Mitchell is the incumbent for Judge Executive. And Mike Smith is the incumbent for Sheriff. Jailer, you vote for one, Steve Mills, Jerry Baker, Mary Hammond's incumbent, and Clyde Trent Jr. First Magisterial District, we have got Jordan Scott Daniels and Roger Mills. And that covers North Knox, North Bailey Switch, and Gray. And then Second Magisterial District, it is Johnny Elliott, Billy Crawford, Tony Mills, Farrell Riley, and Keith Abner. And I'm not as familiar with the incumbents. Numbers are starting to come in Bell, but they haven't rolled up yet. Stinking Creek, Bimble, Richland, Heydrich, Bailey Switch, Barberville for District 2. Magistrate District 3 is Don Rose, Eric Hicks, Tony Golden. That's at Flat Lick, Boone Heights, Artemis, Trosper, and Poplar Creek. And I'm going to stop and talk about these numbers coming in now. This is for United States Senator, the results for Bell County. All right, the total, there's 3 precincts reporting in, and you've got absentees, early voting, mail-ins, and walk-ins. All right, Daniel Cameron, 289. Jonathan Holliday, 10. Andy Barr, 948. Valerie Frederick, 15. Nick Shelley, 4. James Duncan, 14. Michael Ferris, 11. Anissa Catlett, 8. Other Donald Wenzel, 1. None for Jimmy Leon. George Washington garnering 44. Again, that is 3 of 34 precincts checking in for a total of 1344 that have been reported. Kevin Smith garnered 130 for United States Congress 5th Congressional District. You've got 36 for Benjamin Hurley, Hal Rogers at 1219, Jerry Lee Shelton at 12, and Rhonda Monholland, 43. A tight race between Blake Charles Ramey and Ben Barnett for a property valuation administrator. Blake Charles Ramey, 801. Blake Barnett, Blake Charles Ramey, 801. Ben Barnett, 730. 730. Now, this is only 8% of the precincts coming in. Rick Nelson, 1,026 for 67% of the vote. Albie Brock, 487 for 32% of the vote. I won't do the tenths, okay? That's 1,513 votes in. You have also got George Tudor Howard running for sheriff against Mitch Williams. George Tudor Howard, 663, 860 for Mitch. That's 43% for Tudor, and Mitch at 56%. Jailer, which is going to be a very tight race because there's 5 people in there. I'll go as quickly as I can. Barb Venable, 530. Annie Jean Nierengarten, 221. Tony Hobe Teague, 86. Derek Fuzz Jones, 217. Josh Collett, 463. That's a total of 1,517 votes. 3 of 34 precincts reporting in. For coroner, Ethan Warren at 727 for 47%. Jay Steele at 796 for 52%. Magistrate First District, a few names here. Chris Webb, 20. Eddie Saylor, 146. Alan Lee, 29. Burt Markham Jr., 57. Clint Lonnie Schaffner, 25. Tim Parton, 88. Johnny Thomas, 14, for a total of 379 votes total. Magistrate Second District, Bruce Hendrickson. This is Second District, yes. Bruce Hendrickson, 19. Michael Caldwell, 8. Joseph Arthur Jordan, 14. Jeremy Collett, 101. Charles Collett, 4. James Griffin, 17. Keith Allen Cox, 105. Danny Lefevers, 184. Donnie Lefevers, my apologies there. Trying to monitor everything, and I see that we're having an issue with our stream. So, okay, there it goes. Constable, Second Magisterial District. David Lee Cox, 187. Robert Daniels, 131. Tyler Langford, 104. That's 422 votes total. Magistrate Third District coming up. Third District, Ben Hatfield at 36. Larry Apple Adkins at 108. Nicholas Allen Schaffner at 71 for 215 votes. Magistrate Fourth District, Kevin Barnett at 100 votes. Kenny Vanover at 79. Glenn Webb at 29. We're going to do our best to get this information to you as quickly as we can, okay? I know we got a good crowd on there. I know it's hard to see the numbers. That's the best we can do. My apologies. Magistrate 5th District, folks. Donnie Sparks, 23. Joe Hammondtree, 101. John Trosper, 58. Ronnie Fusen, 75. Steve Robinson, 27 for 284 total votes. 3 of 34 precincts reporting in. This does include mail-ins, walk-ins, and early voting. United States Senator, it's a bit of a list. Vincent Anthony Thompson, 16. Amy McGrath, 107. Dale Lewis Romans, 8. Charles Booker, 64. Pamela Stevenson, 7. Joshua Blanton Sr., 5. Logan Forsyth, 11. Keep in mind, these are only Bell County results. These are not any other county. Mayor, City of Middlesboro. Boone Bowling, 69% of the vote at 386. Travis Moody, 8% of the vote at 49. Michael Orr, 21% of the vote at 119. 3 of 34. Normally what happens is, as this one ticks off, they'll refresh with more coming in. So we're going to do our best to make sure that we get these numbers to you as quickly as possible. While that's going on, I'm going to see if our friends at the Mountain Advocate have had the opportunity to update their numbers. Thank you again to our sponsors, going by the name of Brooks Durham Funeral Home, Fortner's Home Connection, and attorney Blake Bowling, bringing you these returns. Still seeing a blank screen here. We'll be back to that here in just a minute. And I don't see if you have any numbers from area from area reports that you would like to share with us, please send them to me in a private message. Okay? Please send them to me in a private message. I can see within the last 17 minutes in our Knox County reporting from the Mountain Advocate is, and you'll see this if you come to the Bell County Courthouse, it's long strips of ticker tape, okay? It's long printouts. And the results of the unexcused and unexcused absentee are coming in. Oh, 10 of 34 reporting in now. 10 of 34 reporting in. Hang on just a second here. All right. And after so far, I know that the people are more interested in the local election, so I'll probably come off the United States Senator at some point. Daniel Cameron, 450. Jonathan Holliday, 12. Andy Barr, 1423. Valerie Frederick, 19. Nick Shelley, 5. James Duncan, 19. Michael James Ferris, 15. Anissa Catlett, 10. Other Donald Wenzel, 2. Same for Jimmy Leon, 2. George Washington, 59. United States Representative in Congress, 5th Congressional District. It is also Kevin Smith at 191, Benjamin Hurley at 47. Carrying it so far is Hal Rogers at 1805. Jerry Lee Shelton is at 17, and Brandon R. Mulholland, 68. Keep in mind, Bell County numbers only. Property Valuation Administrator, you vote for 1. At 54% of the vote of what's reported in, Blake Charles Ramey at 1227. Ben Barnett, the incumbent, 1042 for 2,269 votes. County Judge Executive Rick Nelson at 1522 for 68% of the vote. Albie Brock, 709 for 31% of the vote. Again, mail-in, walk-in, early voting, all counted. Sheriff George Tudor Howard, 993 for 44% of the vote. Mitch Williams, 1258 for 55% of the vote, with 10% of the polling places reporting. That's a total of 2251. Jailer, much tighter race. Barb Venable, 684. Annie Jean Nierengarten, 358. Tony Tobe Heeg, 157. Derek Fuzz Jones, 309. Josh Collett, 741. Total of 2259 as far as votes cast. Coroner Ethan Warren is at 49% of the vote at 1129. Jay Steele at 1137. That is just several tenths of a point difference there. Magistrate, 1st District, Chris Webb at 28, Eddie Saylor at 176, Alan Lee at 46, Burt Markham Jr. at 76, Clint Lonnie Schaffner at 38, Tim Parton, 96, Johnny Thomas, 21. Magistrate, 2nd District, Bruce Hendrickson, 45, Michael Caldwell is at 11, Joseph Arthur Jordan at 20, Jeremy Collett at 233, Charles Collett at 7, James Griffin at 22, Keith Allen Cox at 138, and Donnie LaFevers at 236. Donnie is lead with Jeremy in second as of right now. But the right now, it doesn't really matter because all the precincts are not in yet. Good crowd online. Hello to everybody who's watching. Constable, 2nd District, David Lee Cox, 263. Robert Daniels, 286. Tyler Langford, 132. This is 10 of 34 precincts checking in. Magistrate, 3rd District, Ben Hatfield, 36. Larry Apple Adkins, 108. Nicholas Allen Schaffner, 71 for a total of 250 votes. Magistrate, 4th District, Kevin Barnett at 112. Kenny Vanover at 89. Glenn Webb at 31. Appreciate everyone who's watching today. Again, my apologies for how dark it is. That's the best we could do. Thanks again to Fortner's Home Connection, Brooks Durham Funeral Home, and Bowling Law Office for supporting us. Magistrate 5th District, Donnie Sparks is 37. Joe Hammondtree, the incumbent, is 199. John Trosper is 134. Ronnie Fusen is 221. Stephen Robinson is 43. United States Senator Vincent Anthony Thompson, 30. Amy McGrath, 150. Dale Lewis Romans, 11. Charles Booker, 99. Pamela Stevenson, 12. Joshua Blanton Sr., 14. Logan Forsyth, 22. And that's a total of 338 votes. And that is for the Democrat Party. Mayor, City of Middlesboro. It's coming up slowly, folks. Boone Bowling at 423 for 69% of the vote. Travis Moody at 56 for 9% of the vote. And Michael Orr at 130 for 21% of the vote. That is the end of the current report. Again, it takes just a moment for everything to recycle and then it comes back up. We are going to take a very quick break and then we will be right back.
Bowling Law Office of Middlesboro, Kentucky. Your injury is our case and our focus.
Hi, I'm attorney Blake Bowling. For the past 12 years, it's been a privilege to serve many families throughout the tri-state area.
Bowling Law Office handles auto injuries, premises liability, medical negligence, Social Security disability, and workers' comp claims.
If you or a loved one have been injured in an accident and need an experienced attorney with a proven track record of success, please give me a call.
Hi, I'm Ashley, and it has been an honor for me to serve the families of my hometown for the past 14 years here at Brooks Durham Funeral Home. As times change and new traditions form, we are proud to offer both traditional funerals and cremation services for each unique life well lived. Brooks Durham Funeral Home, when you're here, you're family.
Hi, I'm Jim Fortner, owner of Fortner's Home Connection. We're your hometown source for appliances, bedding, furniture, recliners, and lift chairs with all the brand names you could ever hope for and prices you will not believe. Come out and see us at Fortner's Home Connection, 2801 U.S. Highway 25 across from Casey's in the old Sears building. Come on and let me give you the red carpet treatment that you should be getting already. Come see me at Fortner's Home Connection.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. We now have 15 of 34 precincts checking in, so that's 44%. Daniel Cameron for United States Senator at 545. Jonathan Holliday at 20. Andy Barr at 1713. Valerie Frederick at 23. Nick Shelley at 5. James Duncan at 23. Michael James Ferris at 17. Anissa Catlett at 3. Other Donald Wenzel at 4. Jimmy Leon at 3. And George Washington at 67. United States Representative in Congress, 5th Congressional District, voting for 1. It's 230 for Kevin Smith, 67 for Benjamin Hurley. Hal Rogers is 2141. Jerry Lee Shelton is 26. Brandon R. Monholland is at 87. Hey, if you're listening on the radio, do us a favor. If it drops out at all, send me a message as soon as possible, okay? I think we're fine, though. Property Valuation Administrator, you vote for 1. Blake Charles Ramey at 1493 for 55% of the vote, with 15 of 34 checking in. Ben Barnett at 1221 for 44%. Rick Nelson running for Judge Executive against Albie Brock. Rick Nelson has garnered 1,848 votes, which is 68%, almost 69%. And Albie Brock is at 831, which is 31% of the vote. Sheriff George Tudor Howard at 1183. Mitch Williams at 1518. That is 2701 as far as the total amount of votes coming in. Jailer Barb Venable is at 845. Annie Jean Nierengarten is at 434. Tony Tobe Heeg is at 181. Derek Fuzz Jones at 355. And Joshua Collett is at 894. Coroner Ethan Warren garnered 50% of the current vote at 1364. Jay Steele at 49% of the vote, 1,356. Very tight race there. Again, that's 1364 for Ethan Warren, 1356 for Jay Steele. Magistrate 1st District, Chris Webb, 28. Eddie Saylor, 176. Alan Lee, 46. Burt Markham Jr., 76. Clint Lonnie Schaffner, 38. Tim Parton at 96. Johnny Thomas at 21. Magistrate 2nd District, Bell County, 15 of 34 precincts checking in, including mail-ins, walk-ins, and early voting. Bruce Hendrickson at 53. Michael Caldwell at 11. Joseph Arthur Jordan at 25. Jeremy Collett, 275. Charles Collett, 10. James Griffin, 42. Keith Allen Cox, 151. And Donnie Lefevers, 294. Constable 2nd Magisterial District, you're voting for 1. Give it just a moment. And if for some reason it's a little unsynced with my voice and the numbers, you can just pay attention to one or the other. You can just turn me off and just watch the screen, or you can listen. It's an internet issue, folks. Constable 2nd District, David Lee Cox, 307. Robert Daniels, 341. Tyler Langford, 177 for 825 total votes in the 2nd Magisterial District. 3rd Magisterial District, Ben Hatfield at 76, Larry Apple Adkins at 179, Nicholas Allen Schaffner at 130 for 385 total votes. Magistrate 4th District, Kevin Barnett, 176, Kenny Vanover, 148, Glenn Webb, 46 for 370 total votes. That total vote is going to be much lower than some of these other races because it's just magisterial districts that we're counting right now. This is 15 of 34 precincts checking in, including mail-ins, walk-ins, early voting. 5th Magisterial District, Donnie Sparks is 37, Joe Hammondtree is 199, John Trosper 134, Ronnie Fusen 221, and Stephen Robinson 43 for 634 total votes. United States Senator, and this is going to be for the Democrat Party for 5th Congressional District, Vincent Anthony Thompson, 35. Amy McGrath, 208. Dale Lewis Romans, 11. Charles Booker, 130. Pamela Stevenson, 17. Joshua Blanton Sr., 19. Logan Forsyth, 226. Again, that's 226. Let's see here in just a minute if we can check in with the Mountain Advocate and see what they're doing. Mayor of Middlesboro, you've got 695 for Boone Bowling, 67% of the vote. Travis Moody at 115 for 11% of the vote, and Michael Orr at 227 for 21% of the vote. Keep in mind, it's the top 2 vote getters in that particular race that move on to November. Top 2 vote getters. All right, let's see what the Mountain Advocate has, if they've got any numbers for our Knox County. If you don't want to go there, I get it. There are some numbers in. They're doing, the way they report is the full paper ballot. They're incomplete results, so I'd be giving you incomplete numbers from that area, and I don't know that I can tell you this, though. Their Election Day precincts reporting, 20 of 20 have come in Knox County, but 0 of 20 are complete. So they've come in, but they have not been recorded yet. Ballots cast in Knox County, 4,566 ballots total. For the Republican Party, it was 4,188, and the ballots cast is, for Democrat Party, 378. All right, we've got an update. 21 of 34 precincts checking in. United States Senator Daniel Cameron, 723. Jonathan Holliday, 23. Andy Barr, 2250. Valerie, Dr. Val Frederick, 30. 11 for Nick Shelley. 26 for James Duncan. 25 for Michael James Ferris. 14 for Anissa Catlett. 4 for Donald Wenzel. 4 for Jimmy Leon. 82 for George Washington. That's a total of 3192 for that race. 5th Congressional District, United States Representative Kevin Smith, 330. Benjamin Hurley, 97. Hal Rogers, 2777. 44 for Jerry Lee Shelton. 106 for Brandon R. Monholland. It's a total of 3354. In the property valuation administrator race, we have got Blake Charles Ramey coming in at 1968. Ben Barnett at 1585. Blake Charles Ramey, 1968. Ben Barnett, 1585. That is 3,553 votes cast, 21 of 34 precincts. If I flub up some names, please forgive me. County Judge Executive Rick Nelson challenging incumbent Albie Brock. Rick is garnered 2,423 votes for 68%, almost 67% of the vote. Albie Brock, 1106 for 34%. That's of 21 of 34 checking in. Sheriff race, George Tudor Howard, 1604. Mitch Williams, 1956. That's 45% for Tudor and 54% for Mitch. Some people like percentages. Jailer, you got Barb Venable at 1,085, Annie Jean Nierengarten at 552, Tony Hobe Teague at 226, Derek Fuzz Jones at 499, Josh Collett at 1191. That's 1191. That's 3,553 votes cast. In the coroner's race, Ethan Warren at 1758 for 49% of the vote. Jay Steele, 1825 for 50% of the vote, almost 51. First Magisterial District, Chris Webb, 45, Eddie Saylor, 206, Alan Lee, 74, Burt Markham Jr., 124, 47 for Clint Lonnie Schaffner, 101 for Tim Parton, and 22 for Johnny Thomas. Eddie Saylor's the incumbent. He's currently ahead. Magistrate 2nd District, Bruce Hendrickson, 61, 25 for Michael Caldwell, 34 for Joseph Arthur Jordan, 351 for Jeremy Collett, 24 for Charles Collett, 51 for James Griffin, 249 for Keith Allen Cox, and the incumbent, Donnie Lefevers, is at 407 in the lead. Again, just 21 of 34 precincts reporting in. Constable 2nd Magisterial District in Bell County, Kentucky, David Lee Cox at 456, Robert Daniels at 415, and Tyler Langford at 274 for 1,145 votes. Magistrate 3rd Magisterial District, Ben Hatfield, 90, Larry Apple Adkins, 216, Nicholas Allen Schaffner, 168. That is 474 votes total. Sounds like we got a good crowd starting downstairs right now. Magistrate 4th District. In the lead is Kevin Barnett with 229, Kenny Vanover coming up close at 213, and Glenn Webb at 62. Webb is the current incumbent. Magistrate 5th District, Donnie Sparks at 45, incumbent Joe Hammondtree, 297, John Trosper, 169, Ronnie Fusen, 240, Steve Robinson, 44, for a total of 795 votes. United States Senator, this is in a Democrat Party primary election, Vincent Anthony Thompson, 42, Amy McGrath, 251. Dale Lewis Romans, 11. Charles Booker, 164. Pamela Stevenson, 22. Joshua Blanton Sr., 28. Logan Forsyth, 33. Mayor, City of Middlesboro, top 2 vote getters. Boone Bowling, garnering 67.5% of the vote at 894. Travis Moody, 145 for almost 11% of the vote. And Michael Orr, 284 for 21.5% of the vote. with 21 of 34 checking in. That is 61% of the precincts checking in. That gives the mayor's race a total of 1323. We will take another quick break here, and then we'll be back here on 106.3 FM. This is The Big One.
Office of Middlesboro, Kentucky. Your injury is our case and our focus.
Hi, I'm attorney Blake Bowling. For the past 12 years, it's been a privilege to serve many families throughout the tri-state area.
Bowling Law Office handles auto injuries, premises liability, medical negligence, Social Security disability, and workers' comp claims.
If you or a loved one have been injured in an accident and needed an experienced attorney with a proven track record of success, please give me a call.
Hi, I'm Ashley, and it has been an honor for me to serve the families of my hometown for the past 14 years here at Brooks-Durham Funeral Home. As times change and new traditions form, we are proud to offer both traditional funerals and cremation services for each unique life well lived. Brooks-Durham Funeral Home. When you're here, you're family.
Hi, I'm Jim Fortner, owner of Fortner's Home Connection. We're your hometown source for appliances, bedding, furniture, recliners, and lift chairs with all the brand names you could ever hope for and prices you will not believe. Come out and see us at Fortner's Home Connection, 2801 U.S. Highway 25 across from Casey's in the old Sears building. Come on out and let me give you the red carpet treatment that you should be getting already. Come see me at Fortner's Home Connection.
All right, folks, we are back, and we appreciate you being with us, okay? So here's the deal. We have got, I'm going to skip this round of United States Senator and United States Representative. A lot of folks are saying, hey, can you save that for the end? We really want to hear about the local elections, so we're going to do that just to keep people updated a little bit more on what's going on locally. But it is now... hang on just a second. I need to make a change in our screen here very quickly and get our sponsors up there, make sure they're taken care of. Fortner's Home Connection, Brooks-Durham Funeral Home, and Bowling Law Office. Property Valuation Administrator. Blake Charles Ramey, 2310 for 55.18% of the vote. This is with 28 of 34 precincts checking in. Ben Barnett, 1876 for 44.82% of the vote checking in at 4186 total votes. Rick Nelson is leading. Albie Brock, 2863 to 1293. That's 68%, almost 69 to 31%, with a total of 4156 checking in as far as votes. The sheriff race, you've got George Tudor Howard coming in at 1924 for a total of 45.93%. Might as well say 46% there. Mitch Williams is at 54% for 2265. And it's 4189 total votes. Jailer, Barb Venable, 1290. Annie Jean Nierengarten, 630. Tony Hobe Teague, 274. Derek Fuzz Jones, 595, and Josh Collett, 1395. So Josh is currently in the lead with 28 of 34 precincts checking in. I've been a part of this election process for a while now. That could change. It could stay the same. Of course, we're waiting till the end. Coroner Ethan Warren at 2,054 votes for 48.75% of the vote. Jay Steele, the incumbent, for coroner, 2159 for 51.25% of the vote. First Magisterial District is Chris Webb at 69, Eddie Saylor, the incumbent, at 342, Alan Lee at 99, Burt Markham Jr. at 156, Clint Lonnie Schaffner at 54, Tim Parton at 214, and Johnny Thomas at 36. You've got Eddie Saylor, the incumbent, in the lead. That's 970 votes that have been tallied. Second Magisterial District, Bruce Hendrickson is 69. Michael Caldwell, 25. Joseph Arthur Jordan at 41. Jeremy Collett at 379. Charles Collett at 26. James Griffin at 76. Keith Allen Cox at 287, and Donnie LaFevers at 433. LaFevers is the incumbent. He's at 433 in the lead. Constable, 2nd Magisterial District, David Lee Cox, 520. Robert Daniels, 448. Tyler Langford, 301. Cox is in the lead at 520. Magistrate 3rd District, Ben Hatfield at 104. Larry Apple Adkins at 252. And Nicholas Allen Schaffner at 199. That's a total of 555 votes. Magistrate 4th District, Kevin Barnett is in the lead. By 6 votes, 254 over Kenny Vanover's 248. Glenn Webb is at 72. Magistrate 5th District, Donnie Sparks, 45. Joe Hammondtree, 297. John Trosper, 169. Ronnie Fusen, 240. Stephen Robinson, 44. Incumbent is currently in the lead. We've got United States, we're going to do this one. United States Senator for the Democrat Party, Vincent Anthony Thompson at 54, Amy McGrath at 305, Dale Lewis Romans at 11, Charles Booker at 193, Pamela Stevenson at 25, and Joshua Blanton Sr. at 34, Logan Forsyth at 36. They slowed it way down for me because I'm a slow reader, apparently. Mayor of Middlesboro, Boone Bowling, 1,023 votes. Travis Moody, 176. Michael Orr, 324. Top 2 vote getters in that race move forward. That's 67% for Boone, 11% for Travis, and 21% for Michael Orr. That's the end of the current report. That's 28 of 34 reporting in. 28 of 34 reporting in. I want to say hello to a few folks that are online as we're waiting for this report to come back up. We've got Vicki Cole, Deborah Garrett. We also have Jenny Lee, Melissa Caldwell. I know you can't see the screen very well. They have gone from a large format down to looks like about a 46-inch television. So we're doing the best to get the results to you that we can. So we apologize if you can't see them on the projector. We'll try and do better next year. Or not next year, but we got an election in November. Who's moving forward in November? Well, the sheriff's race will move forward because there is another candidate, Tommy Fusen, running against whoever wins the sheriff race. And we got more numbers coming in. I'm skipping the United States Senator right now, so I'll talk for just a few more seconds. We have also got the mayor's race. Top 2 vote getters move forward. And jailer's race, that's what it was. The jailer's race moves forward because there is a Democrat candidate who is going to run against whoever wins tonight. And I think that's all the races, isn't it? Magistrate District 2, that's right. There is a Democrat running there. Steve Brock. Thank you. Thank you very much. So we'll go over the United States Senator here in just a little bit and the United States Representative in Congress, 5th District, shortly. We're getting there. It's a slow roll, but I'm appreciative that it's a slow roll because I'm a slow reader. Thank you again to our sponsors. Goes by the name of Fortner's Home Connection, Brooks Durham Funeral Home, Bowling Law Office. All right, Property Valuation Administrator. Blake Charles Ramey, 2451 for 55.39% of the vote with 30 precincts checking in. Ben Barnett, 1974 with 44% of the precincts checking in. That gives you a total of 4,425 votes. County Judge Executive Rick Nelson going up against Albie Brock. Rick is currently leading 3,030 votes for 69% of the vote over Albie Brock, 1,365 for 31% of the vote. Sheriff, George Tudor Howard, 2,033 for 45%, almost 46% of the vote. He's down to Mitch Williams, 2,397 for 54% of the vote. Jailer, we've got 5 of them. Remember, whoever wins this goes up against Democrat Party member Mr. Jesse Adkins in November. Barb Venable, 1,377. Annie Jean Nierengarten, 661. Tony Tobe Heeg at 285. Derek Fuzz Jones, 610. And the lead is Josh Collett. Josh is a former jailer, deputy jailer, 1,490 votes. So that's 44-23. 44-23 total votes cast in that race. The coroner, Ethan Warren, challenging Jay Steele. Ethan Warren, 49.36% of the vote at 2199, and Jay Steele, 2256 at 50.64% of the vote. Magistrate First District, Chris Webb, 69, Eddie Saylor, 34, Alan Lee, 99, Burt Markham Jr., Burt Markham Jr., 156, Clint Lonnie Schaffner, 54, Tim Parton, 214, Johnny Thomas, 36. Eddie Saylor, the incumbent, currently in the lead. Second District, Magistrate Bruce Hendrickson, 69. Michael Caldwell, 25. Joseph Arthur Jordan, 41. Jeremy Collett, 379. Charles Collett, 26. James Griffin, 76. Keith Allen Cox, 287. And Donnie Lefevre's the incumbent, 433. That is giving a total vote number of 1,336. This is 30 of 34 precincts checking in. Constable, 2nd Magisterial District. David Lee Cox is at 520, Robert Daniels at 448, and Tyler Langford at 301. Magistrate 3rd District, Ben Hatfield at 117, Larry Apple Atkins at 303, Nicholas Allen Schaffner at 230, and the 3rd District is going to come up for Binghamtown, Dorchester, Knowtown, Junction, and West Central. Magistrate 4th District, which is City Hall, East End, Winchester, Southside, and Exeter, should have been doing this the whole time, is 254 for Kevin Barnett. No change in the last roll call there. 248 for Kenny Vanover and 72 for Glenn Webb. That's a pretty tight race there. Magistrate 5th District, that is Laurel B., Greasy Creek, Clear Creek, Suddy, and Edgewood. Starting to sound like AI. Magistrate 5th District, Donnie Sparks at 72, Joe Hammondtree, 328, John Trosper, 210, Ronnie Fuson at 253, Steve Robinson at 75. And then the United States Senator, Democrat Party, primary election, Vincent Anthony Thompson, Amy McGrath, Dale Lewis Romans, Charles Booker, Pamela Stevenson, Joshua Blanton Sr., and Logan Forsythe. We'll get all those numbers at the end, okay? We'll also get all the numbers for the United States Senator Republican Party, which is Daniel Cameron, Jonathan Holliday, Andy Barr, Nate Morris, Val Frederick, Nick Shelley, James Duncan, Michael James Ferris, Anissa Catlett, other Donald Wenzel, that's what it says, Jimmy I. Leon, and George Washington. Blake Bowling, still in the lead over Travis Moody and Michael Orr. Blake is coming in at 1,089 votes for 65% of the vote. Travis Moody at 11%, 191 votes, and Michael Orr at 376 for 22% of the vote. So the top 2 vote getters will move on to November. Move on to November. What did I say? You said Blake. I said Blake. I'm sorry. Everything's running together. Boone Bowling. Blake Bowling is one of our advertisers. Thank you for correcting on scene. I'm going to take a break. Boone Bowling is the name, Brian. Okay. We'll be back here in just a minute after.
Bowling Law Office of Middlesboro, Kentucky. Your injury is our case and our focus.
Hi, I'm attorney Blake Bowling. For the past 12 years, it's been a privilege to serve many families throughout the tri-state area.
Bowling Law Office handles auto injuries, premises liability, medical negligence, Social Security disability, and workers' comp claims.
If you or a loved one have been injured in an accident and needed an experienced attorney with a proven track record of success, please give me a call.
Hi, I'm Ashley, and it has been an honor for me to serve the families of my hometown for the past 14 years here at Brookster Funeral Home. As times change and new traditions form, we are proud to offer both traditional funerals and cremation services for each unique life well lived. Brookster Funeral Home. When you're here, you're family.
Hi, I'm Jim Fortner, owner of Fortner's Home Connection. We're your hometown source for appliances, bedding, furniture, recliners, and lift chairs with all the brand names you could ever hope for and prices you will not believe. Come out and see us at Fortner's Home Connection, 2801 U.S. Highway 25 across from Casey's in the old Sears building. Come on and let me give you the red carpet treatment that you should be getting already. Come see me at Fortner's Home Connection.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're back. We've got 31 of 34 checking in. Property Valuation Administrator Blake Charles Ramey is 2547 for 55.5% of the vote. Ben Barnett is 2028 for 44% of the vote. That's 4,575 votes. 31 of 34 precincts checking in. Judge Executive race, Rick Nelson, 3157 for 69.5%. Al Albie Brock is 1386 for 30%, 30.5%. Sheriff George Tudor Howard, 47% of the vote, 2168. Mitch Williams, 52.5% of the vote for 2413. That's a total of 4,581 people who have voted in Bell County for that particular race. Jailer's race, Barb Venables got 30% for 1414. Annie Jean Nierengarten's got 15% for 690 votes. Tony Tobe-Heeg is at 6%, 290 votes. Derek Fuzz Jones at 14%, 644. And Josh Collett at 33%. He's leading 1534, and that's 4,572 votes. Coroner Ethan Warren is at 48.99% of the vote for 2256. 2,256 votes to Jay Steele's 51%, 2349 votes. First Magisterial District, Chris Webb, 74 votes. Eddie Saylor, 382. Not much change from the last time, but we'll check again. Alan Lee, 115. Burt Markham Jr., 215. Clint Lonnie Schaffner, 54. Tim Parton, 226. And Johnny Thomas, 56. Magistrate, second Magisterial District, Bruce Hendrickson, 69. It's gone up just a little. Michael Caldwell, 25. Joseph Arthur Jordan, 41. We have got Jeremy Collett at 379. Charles Collett at 26, James Griffin at 76, Keith Allen Cox at 287, and Donnie Lefevers at 433. Constable, 2nd Magisterial District, 31 of 34 precincts checking in. David Lee Cox, 520. Robert Daniels, 448. Tyler Langford, 301. That's 1,269 people voting in that race. Magistrate, 3rd Magisterial District, Ben Hatfield, 117. Larry Apple Atkins, 303. Nicholas Allen Schaffner, 230. That's 650 people voting in that 31 of 34 precincts. I don't know if all the precincts are in yet for some of these races yet. Magistrate, 4th District, Kevin Barnett, leading. There's no change in this. Well, they're refreshing the screen. Another one's come in. This moment of silence is brought to you by Refreshing. Thank you to Cumberland Gap Water for giving us refreshing water. We appreciate everyone who's here tonight, here in person. and we appreciate everyone who's online. We got a really good crew online. Hello to everyone who's decided to join us. We got several media outlets here. Frank's here from WFXY and WQJM. We've also got a gentleman who I can't remember his name from the AP. Your name is again, sir? John. That's right. Sorry about that. And that's it, but that's a good number. All right, so we are coming back as 32 of 34 precincts are checking in. 32 of 34 precincts are checking in. Jacob Henson, good morning, good evening, and good afternoon. Steve Williams, how are you? Peggy Brooks, good to see you. I'm not going to go into these senator numbers right now. I'm going to wait till the end because they don't have the impact for Bell County that the local races do. It's not that they're not important, but I think the local races are much more important to keep up with, as of right now anyway. Property Valuation Administrator, it is Blake Charles Ramey at 2,616 votes for 55.24% of the vote. Ben Barnett at 2120 for 44% of the vote. That is 4,736 total votes in that particular race. Judge Executive, Rick Nelson, 3226 for 68%, almost 69%. Albie Brock, 31% of the vote at 1470. That's a total of 4,696 votes in that particular race. Sheriff George Tudor Howard, 2215 for 46% of the vote. Mitch Williams, 53% of the vote at 2523. Whoever wins that race goes on against the independent, and that is Tommy Fusen. In the jailer's race, 5 individuals running, and they will meet up against whoever wins, meets up against Jesse Atkins, the Democrat. Okay. Barb Venable, 1463. Annie Jean Nierengarten, 698. Tony Hobe Heeg, it is 307. Also, Derek Fuzz Jones, 655. And Josh Collett is at 1605. Josh Collett, former deputy jailer, currently in the lead. Coroner, Ethan Warren challenging the incumbent Jay Steele. Ethan Warren has 2353 at 49% of the vote. Jay Steele has 2411 for 50.5%. Here's the long ones. You've got First Magisterial District, Chris Webb at 74, Eddie Saylor at 382, Alan Lee at 115, Burt Markham Jr. at 215, Clint Lonnie Schaffner at 54, Tim Parton at 226, Johnny Thomas at 56. Currently in the lead is the incumbent, Eddie Saylor. I don't believe there's been a change in that race. Second Magisterial District, it is Bruce Hendrickson at 69, Michael Caldwell at 25. We also have Joseph Arthur Jordan at 41, Jeremy Collett at 379, Charles Collett at 26, James Griffin at 76, Keith Allen Cox at 287, and Donnie LaFevers at 433. Constable second, David Lee Cox, 520. Robert Daniels, 448. Tyler Langford, 301. I don't believe there's been a change in that race either. Magistrate, 3rd Magisterial District, Ben Hatfield at 117, Larry Apple Adkins at 303, Nicholas Allen Schaffner 230. Total of 650 votes have been cast. All right, moving on. We have Magistrate, 4th Magisterial District, Kevin Barnett at 254, Kenny Vanover 248, Glenn Webb at 72. That number has not changed either. And I honestly don't know if it's going to change in the last 2 precincts or not. Fifth Magisterial District, Donnie Sparks, 83, Joe Hammontree, 451, John Trosper at 220, Ronnie Fusen at 261, and Steve Robinson at 85. That number has not changed either. Not yet, anyway. Thank you. We're going to wait and go over the United States Senator races, Democrat and Republican, after this has all come to an end. This is 106.3 FM coverage of the 2026 Republican primary election results. In the mayor's race, Boone Bowling, 1089 for 65.76% of the vote. Travis Moody, 11.53% at 191 total votes, and Michael Orr at 376 for 22.71% of the vote. That's 1,656 total votes in that race. All right, 32 of 34 checking in. If you want to check out Harlan results, please go to WTUK. We've got a feed on our page for that. If you want to check out Knox County results, I think everything is just about finished there, just about. They do things a little more paper-oriented, so they've got those results on their page, which we also shared on ours. We'll be back in just a minute here on 106.3 FM. This is the big one. Just about to wrap this thing.
Bowling Law Office of Middlesboro, Kentucky. Your injury is our case and our focus.
Hi, I'm attorney Blake Bowling. For the past 12 years, it's been a privilege to serve many families throughout the tri-state area.
Bowling Law Office handles auto injuries, premises liability, medical negligence, Social Security disability, and workers' comp claims.
If you or a loved one have been injured in an accident and needed an experienced attorney with a proven track record of success, please give me a call.
Hi, I'm Ashley, and it has been an honor for me to serve the families of my hometown for the past 14 years here at Brookster Funeral Home. As times change and new traditions form, we are proud to offer both traditional funerals and cremation services for each unique life well lived. Brookster Funeral Home. When you're here, you're family.
Hi, I'm Jim Fortner, owner of Fortner's Home Connection. We're your hometown source for appliances, bedding, furniture, recliners, and lift chairs, with all the brand names you could ever hope for and prices you will not believe. Come out and see us at Fortner's Home Connection, 2801 U.S. Highway 25, across from Casey's in the old Sears building. Come on and let me give you the red carpet treatment that you should be getting already. Come see me at Fortner's Home Connection.
So as you can see, you're good. As you can see, folks, we have still, or you may not be able to see it because it's in the upper right-hand corner and I've got it blocked, but it's 32 of 34 precincts still checking in. 32 of 34 precincts still checking in. Let's see who's online with us tonight. I'm not going to try and get other counties right now because I believe that their media outlets are covering it more than adequately, and I think I would do it a disservice if you want to know the truth. Scott Wilson, how you doing? Abby Enix, Billy, how are you? Hope you're well. I'll do Senate the next go around. I promise. I'll take care of the Senate the next go around. Amanda Brooks Brandstutter, how are you? We also have Kathy Carroll and Sandra Gooden. Justin Long checking in here. And who else we got online here? We've got Hunter Collett, Ashley Taylor, J.D. Broughton, and Sandra Gooden. So there we go. Thank you very much. Okay. All right, so we're still sitting at 32 of 34, 32 of 34. And we'll, since we're getting down to the wire here, we'll go ahead and get the senators in there. The Democrat senator is coming up here in just a second as far as what they have voted on. It is just a long list of locals. So we'll get to that here in just a minute. I know it's a difficult screen to see simply because of the proportions of things now. So we're working on it, folks. All right. Just letting it scroll through for just a few minutes here. We got some folks that are using a microscope to look at their results. Yeah. I think Right Fork is in. I believe we're waiting on Frakes. And who would be the other precinct? I can't think of who the other precinct would be that would be. Yeah, Frakes. Right Fork has come in. I really don't know. I'm not sure who would be last on the list there to come in. Yeah, it's a tiny screen. We're doing our best. Binoculars or a microscope one. Yeah. So, but we thank everyone who's joining us so far. Maybe I shouldn't have held the Senate races. I just thought that the locals took precedence. I'll make sure I don't do that again. But who else we got here with us online tonight? I haven't checked in with any of our YouTube folks. We got a pretty good YouTube crowd on right now. We appreciate them. We have traditionally been Facebook oriented, but within the last couple of years, we said, you know what, let's go ahead and switch that up just a little bit. Let's see what we got here. Say hello to everyone involved. Yeah, we got a good crew on there tonight. Still waiting on the polling places reporting in. Yeah, a lot of good folks. Okay, so good evening to everyone on YouTube tonight, and thank you for being cordial to each other. All right, 32 of 34 precincts rolling in. I'm going to start just repeating things until we get another. And we've got a black screen here. Hang on just a second, folks. I'm going to keep repeating some of these results that are on screen until we get the refresh from the Election Commission. And man, big hand clap there for the Election Commission. They have done an amazing job this year. There's been a lot to navigate, a whole lot to navigate. Vincent Anthony Thompson, 59. Amy McGrath, 332. Dale Lewis Romans, 13. Charles Booker, 221. Pamela Stevenson, 30. Joshua Blanton Sr., 38. Logan Forsyth, 43. And that is the numbers, or those are the numbers for the United States Senator, Democrat Party primary election, 5th Congressional District. And then we, at the very end there, and I'm not sure why it's at the end, but 1,089 for Boone Bowling, 191 for Travis Moody, and 376 for Michael Orr. As of right now, it appears that Michael Orr and Boone Bowling will move on to November. That's what it appears. So this will be the end of that particular report. The screen kind of goes blank for a little bit until they have the opportunity to do a quick refresh. And we hope you stay with you. Hope you stay with us to the very end of this. 32 of 34 precincts coming in. We'll see if they do a refresh in the next few minutes. If they don't, I will go over the senator races, which I'm going to do right now because I see them coming in. United States Senator, this is for the Republican Party primary election. Daniel Cameron, 958. Jonathan Holliday, 27. Andy Barr, 3,002. Valerie Dr. Val Frederick at 38. Nick Shelley, 15. James Duncan, 34. Michael James Ferris, 32. Anissa Catlett, 20. Other Donald Wenzel, 6. Jimmy I. Leon, 7. George Washington, 120. It appears that 3,002 votes has Andy Barr untouchable at this time. In Bell County, anyway. In Bell County. All right, moving on. United States Representative. Once again, United States Representative in Congress, 5th Congressional District, Kevin Smith, 431. 132 for Benjamin Hurley. Hal Rogers holding that lead strong, 3708. Jerry Lee Shelton, 67. Brandon Monholland, 140. There's 4,478 votes in Bell County for those individuals. I'll go over what has not changed in the last little bit because we're still at 32 of 34. Blake Charles Ramey at 2616. Ben Barnett at 2120. County Judge Executive. Current lead, Rick Nelson, 3226 over Albie Brock, 1470. Sheriff, George Tudor Howard, 2215 over Mitch Williams, under Mitch Williams, 2523. So Tudor has 46% of the vote, and Mitch has 53% of the vote as of right now. It's still too close to call, though. Jailer, Barb Venable at 1463. Annie Jean Nierengarten, 698. Tony Hobe Teague at 307. Derek Fuzz Jones at 655. And Joshua Collett still in the lead at 1605. 1605. All right, up next, coroner's race. Coroner's race has not changed because we're still at 32 of 34, but I'll repeat it in case someone's just coming in. You've got Ethan Warren at 2353 and Jay Steele at 2411. Jay Steele, 2411. That's 49.39% of the vote for Ethan and 50.61% of the vote for Jay Steele for a total of 4,767 votes. First District, no change, but just reminding folks in case you missed it, Chris Webb at 74, Eddie Saylor 382, Alan Lee 115, Burt Markham Jr. 213, Clint Lonnie Schaffner 54, Tim Parton 226, Johnny Thomas 56, and that is in the 1st Magisterial District. 2nd Magisterial District is Bruce Hendrickson. 69, Michael Caldwell, 25. I feel there's a refresh coming any second now. 41 for Joseph Arthur Jordan. 379 for Jeremy Collett, 26 for Charles Collett, 76 for James Griffin, 287 for Keith Allen Cox, 433 for Donnie Lefevers. Lefevers currently in the lead. Constable 2nd Magisterial District, 520 for David Lee Cox, 448 for Robert Daniels, 301 for Tyler Langford. There's only, in the time that I've been here in the last 18 years or so, I think there's only been one time where there was one recount and then there was one that was close and there was going to be a recount and I believe they decided against it. So I don't know if any of these will be close enough to call that. 3rd Magisterial District, Ben Hatfield 117, Larry Apple Adkins 303, and Nicholas Allen Schaffner 230 for a total of 650 votes. You've got Kevin Barnett, Kenny Vanover, and Glenn Webb. They're all vying for the 4th Magisterial District. Kevin Barnett is at 254, and Kenny Vanover is at 248. This is the one that is maybe, it could be a recount on that. I don't know, but you're at 32 of 34. Not sure if all the precincts have checked in or not. And then Glenn Webb is sitting at 72. 5th Magisterial District, Donnie Sparks, 83. Joe Hammondtree, 451. John Trosper, 220. Ronnie Fusen, 261. Stephen Robinson, 85. On down the list here, we've got United States Senator, Democrat Party, Vincent Anthony Thompson, 59. Amy McGrath, 332. Dale Lewis Romans, 13. Charles Booker, 221. Pamela Stevenson, 30. Joshua Blanton Sr., 38. Logan Forsyth, 43. It's a total of 736 votes in the county of Bell towards that particular congressional seat. The last time we checked in with the mayor's race for City of Middlesboro, Boone Bowling was in the lead at 1,089, Travis Moody, 191, and Michael Orr, 376. As a reminder, top 2 vote getters move on to the November election. There will be the winner of the sheriff's race moving on to face off against Tommy Fusen, the independent. Winner of the jailer's race will move on to face off against the Democrat Jesse Adkins. And I think that's it. Oh, and then there's a magisterial district that has a gentleman who's running Democrat That'll move on to November as well. Now, why didn't you see certain races? Why didn't you see certain races on the ballot in Bell County? Because this is the Republican primary. It's a Democrat primary for the United States Senator, but it's the Republican primary. So that means that nonpartisan races such as the school board races and the I need help here. City council races will move on to November, okay? In one city council race, there has been an individual who has withdrawn, that is Justin Howard. Early on, in a magisterial district, Robert England withdrew. Those things should have been up, even though one of them wouldn't have even been up because the race wasn't happening yet. But just like the county judge executive where Jeremy Killian withdrew, at each precinct it says who withdrew and for what race. If the person who withdrew, like Justin Howard, his race wasn't up yet, there would be no reason to put that up at any of the precincts, only because that race didn't happen, and it won't happen until November. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to leave you with one more break, and then I'm going to head downstairs and just see what the status is. So,
Kentucky, your injury is our case and our focus.
Hi, I'm attorney Blake Bowling. For the past 12 years, it's been a privilege to serve many families throughout the tri-state area.
Bowling Law Office handles auto injuries, premises liability, medical negligence, Social Security disability, and workers' comp claims.
If you or a loved one have been injured in an accident and needed an experienced attorney with a proven track record of success, please give me a call.
Hi, I'm Ashley, and it has been an honor for me to serve the families of my hometown for the past 14 years here at Brookstone Funeral Home. As times change and new traditions form, we are proud to offer both traditional funerals and cremation services for each unique life well lived. Brookstone Funeral Home. When you're here, you're family.
Hi, I'm Jim Fortner, owner of Fortner's Home Connection. We're your hometown source for appliances, bedding, furniture, recliners, and lift chairs with all the brand names you could ever hope for and prices you will not believe. Come out and see us at Fortner's Home Connection, 2801 U.S. Highway 25 across from Casey's in the old Sears building. Come on and let me give you the red carpet treatment that you should be getting already. Come see me at Fortner's Home Connection.
no. Okay, sorry, it took me a lot longer to get this taken care of than I thought. So Frakes is in, according to County Clerk Debbie Gambrell and her Deputy Clerk Kayla Carnes. It has to be marked complete for the absentees, the walk-ins, and the early voting, even though it's showing up on the screen. Okay, Calmer and Hutch are still to go. So, no change yet. I should have made the break longer. So we're still sitting on our screen here at 32 of 34. And they had Hutch on the phone to find out what their status was. It's technically Calmer, but it's the Hutch precinct. Does that make sense? Okay. Well, somebody explain it to me then. No. Yeah. So we're kind of in a holding mode, which I expected. Hello to Jerry Johnson and Carolyn Hall, Terry Widener. We also have, let's see, who else is on here? Teresa Venable, Stephen Fletcher. I know that the suspense is killing a lot of us. We've got some folks that are just, they're waiting. Yeah, there's a lot of folks in here right now that are just waiting like, okay, well, what is this last precinct going to do? How is this going to affect me? So as soon as we get that, I promise we'll get in there. Like I said, if you want to get the Harlan information, WTUK was live streaming it just a little while ago. Let me see if I can see where they are right now when it comes to their election results. Although they have the same situation that we do in Harlan, in that some of their precincts are extremely far away from the center of town. They're doing basically what we're doing. They're putting the results up. They're having the same issue though. Let's see if I can see what we've got up there. Yeah. Theirs is running at about the same speed that ours is too. So I can at least give you here in the next few seconds Harlan's, and it's looking pretty close up there. Harlan's judge executive race. Let's see who they've got. Give me just a moment here. All right. Mitch Alford is coming in at 1136. Robert Kreider at 363. Colby Goss at 1574. And Paul Browning III at 1423. Now, they've got it blocked, kind of like we do, so I don't know how many precincts are calling in there. They're still continuing. Their jailer, it looks like B.J. Burkhart it looks like he'll retain his seat over Glenn Merle Hensley Jr., and this is in Harlan County. We're getting a refresh possibly on our screen. Not sure yet. They've got several magistrate districts going on right now in Harlan County that are being reported in. Just waiting here for our numbers. So I'm going to keep on with Harlan for a minute. We have got Reggie Riley in 1st Magisterial District at 279, Ralph Allen Turner at 33, Paul Caldwell at 399, Matt Napier at 150, Jason Collinger at 47, and Austin Miller at 313. Same numbers for us are rolling, nothing new yet. Constable 1st Magisterial District in Harlan is Tony No Hall at 370, it looks like. Juan Rivera at 44, Doug Bug Hensley at 319, and Johnny Dale Joseph II at 342. This is the part of the election process that I don't like, the waiting for the finalization of everything. In the 2nd Magisterial District in Harlan County, it is Burl Fee Jr. at 146, Mike Saylor at 200, Melton Middleton at 147, John Buell at 26, Mark Stewart at 3, Carl Canterbury at 66, Derek Sage at, it looks like 238. It's a little out of focus there. Willard Wilkinson at 103. 3rd Magisterial, I'm scrolling as if I can change it. 3rd Magisterial District, John Fields at 486 over Jeff Wilder, 134. It appears that race has come to an end. Constable 3rd Magisterial District, we're still waiting on our numbers here in Bell County. C. Wayne Creech at 389 and Isaac Pennington at 207. 5th Magisterial District for Harlan County. Just a moment, I'm sorry it's taken so long to get there. James Howard at 529, Jack Simpson Jr. at 402, Wendell Lynn Jones at 23, and then we have Brian Hale at 100. Brian Hale at 100. I can't make the election results come in any faster, folks. I'm sorry that I don't have any control over that, but Constable 5th Magisterial District in Harlan, it is Robert Haywood. I believe that's a Robert. Yeah, Robert Haywood, 696, and Owen Petrie III, 326. All right. Hang on just a moment. All right. Let me see if I can get some, because there was a big race in Knox County when it comes to their judge executive as well as their sheriff. Let me see if I can get the basics on that at least. We are still waiting with bated breath here on our results in Bell County. All right, let's see if they can give me maybe the jailer's race. The jailer's race, it looks like Mary Hammonds, it appears that Mary Hammonds has retained her seat as jailer over Stephen Mills, Jerry Baker, and Clyde Trent Jr. Let me get to the two other big ones. Jeff Ketchum has apparently, it appears, unofficially in all aspects with my statement here, it appears that Jeff Ketchum has won over incumbent Mike Mitchell in Knox County. That's what it appears. It appears that Mike Smith, and again, these are unofficial results, has won 35-30 over 30-75. Mike Smith winning over Bobby Jones, and he retains his seat. The others are magistrates, and I'm going to skip that for right now because I feel like we're just about there with our numbers. You know, the one thing I meant to do, and I did not do that, how many registered voters in Bell County? I had that memorized, and let's see if the registration statistics will come up and show me here. By county, as of April 2026, there were 11,692 Republicans, 5,412 Democrats, and just a little under 500 independents, and then 732 who identify as other. All right. So we hope that the percentage, and I feel like it was up a little bit. I feel like the percentage from the last election, not the write-in election for Scott Maiden, but the last election, I feel like we're up from that just a little bit. Well, early voting was much higher. So I feel like we're up maybe just a couple percentage points. Yeah. You know, especially with the amount of incumbents in our races here. Incumbents, you had Albie Brock as an incumbent, Mitch Williams incumbent, Barb Venable incumbent, Jay Steele incumbent, Boone Bowling incumbent, and several magistrates that were incumbents. There was at least one magistrate that decided not to run again, and that was Junior Maiden. So I know he will be missed. But we're still waiting on numbers here. I think I'm going to make this our last break before we're staying until it's over with. I'm not going to sign off until we get that last total in here, but we'll take another break here in just a second.
Hi, I'm attorney Blake Bowling. For the past 12 years, it's been a privilege to serve many families throughout the tri-state area.
Bowling Law Office handles auto injuries, premises liability, medical negligence, Social Security disability, and workers' comp claims.
If you or a loved one have been injured in an accident and needed an experienced attorney with a proven track record of success, please give me a call.
Hi, I'm Ashley, and it has been an honor for me to serve the families of my hometown for the past 14 years here at Brookster Funeral Home. As times change and new traditions form, we are proud to offer both traditional funerals and cremation services for each unique life well lived. Brookster Funeral Home. When you're here, you're family.
Hi, I'm Jim Fortner, owner of Fortner's Home Connection. We're your hometown source for appliances, bedding, furniture, recliners, and lift chairs, with all the brand names you could ever hope for and prices you will not believe. Come out and see us at Fortner's Home Connection, 2801 U.S. Highway 25 across from Casey's in the old Sears building. Come on and let me give you the red carpet treatment that you should be getting already. Come see me at Fortner's Home Connection.
Okay, we still have no new numbers yet, folks. We are waiting on the Hutch/Calmer, and apparently there may have been a technical malfunction. So we're in the process of just finding out a little bit more as this bated breath kind of thing. As we wait on that, I'll put our scrolling numbers up if you want to see them again. I can say with unofficial certainty that Sheriff Mike Smith has won over Bobby Jones. Jeff Ketchum has won over Mike Mitchell. This is in Knox County. And Mary Hammonds has won over her challengers. So Mike Smith will retain his seat as jailer. I'm sorry, I said that wrong. Mike Smith will retain his seat as sheriff. Mary Hammonds will retain her seat as jailer. And Jeff Ketchum is the new judge executive for Knox County. And I think they're still kind of up in the air about, I can tell you what it looks like, but what it looks like and what it is are two clearly different things. In Harlan County, they have a total of 18,174 registered voters, which is fairly close to Bell. Bell has 18,379. And then Knox County is sitting at... Knox County, Brian, 23,045. So interested to see what the turnout is on these elections. I'm going to check back in with WTUK very quickly. And since we're still in a holding mode, I'm going to stay here until we get the numbers. If that means that we start a karaoke line or something like that, then we'll do that. But I'm going to stay until these numbers come in, instead of having you keep refreshing and get back. Hang on, let me just check in with WTUK and see where things stand with them. 33 of 34. I don't have to wait anymore. All right, here we go, folks. This is it. When she makes it official down in the tallying room, it will go to 34. But this should be the last tally. Are you ready? No, you're not. Okay. United States Senator Daniel Cameron, 982 for 22% of the vote. Jonathan Holliday, 0.66% of the vote with 29 votes. Andy Barr, the clear winner in Bell County anyway, 3,071. Valerie Frederick, 39. Nick Shelley, 16. James Duncan, 35. Michael James Ferris, 33. Anissa Catlett, 21. Other Donald Wenzel, 6. Jimmy I. Leon, 7, and George Washington, and we can call it for Bell County at least, for Andy Barr. All right. United States Representative in Congress, Hal Rogers, head and shoulders as far as Bell County is concerned. Kevin Smith got 434. Benjamin Hurley is sitting at 140. Hal Rogers at 3,800. Jerry Lee Shelton at 69, and Brandon Mulholland at 143. Property Valuation Administrator Blake Charles Ramey is the apparent winner unofficially of this race, 26-29 for 54.12% of the vote over Ben Barnett, 22-29 for 45.88%. We have got Rick Nelson in County Judge Executive race, 32-91 at 68.35% over Al Albie Brock, 1,524 votes for 31.65% of the vote. Sheriff's race, George Tudor Howard, 22-59 for 46.5. Okay, they've done another refresh, so this may be where they're finalizing the numbers. The precincts anyway. So sorry about that. Today's blank screen is brought to you by Sit and Wait. So we'll take this opportunity and say thank you to Brooks Durham Funeral Home, as well as Fortner's Home Connection and Bowling Law Office. That's Bowling Law Office. Okay, they're bringing the numbers back up. Sounds good. Here we go. We've already gone over the state senator, but I'll do it again in case you forgot. Andy Barr is head and shoulders above the other candidates in the United States Senator race, which is being vacated by Mitch McConnell. 3,071 votes. The closest would have been Daniel Cameron at 982. That's for Bell County. Those are Bell County numbers only. Head and shoulders above everyone else is Hal Rogers, 3,800 votes. The next closest would have been Kevin Smith. All right. Back to PVA. I don't believe there's going to be any number changes. I'm not sure. I think that was just her way of finalizing. 26-29, Blake Charles Ramey. 22-29, Ben Barnett. It appears unofficially that Blake Charles Ramey has won that particular election. County Judge Executive. It appears that Rick Nelson has won the election against Albie Brock, 32-91 to 15-24. In the sheriff's race, it appears that George Tudor Howard has lost to Mitch Williams, to 22-59 for Tudor Howard. Mitch comes in at 25-98. Total of 48-57. That's as many votes as they've had on that one. The jailer's race. Let's see what we've got here. We didn't get that far just a few minutes ago. Barb Venable comes in at 15-29. Annie Jean Nierengarten, 704. Tony Hobe Teague at 311. Derek Fuzz Jones at 670. And it appears that Josh Collett has won as jailer at 1631 with 33% of the vote versus Barb Venable, the closest one, 31% of the vote. Coroner. Whew, tight race. It appears that Jay Steele will retain his seat at 2474 versus Ethan Warren's 2410. These are all unofficial totals. Once again, all unofficial totals. Let's see. Moving on. First Magisterial District, Chris Webb, 81. Eddie Saylor, 414. Alan Lee, 119. Burt Markham Jr., 227. Clint Lonnie Schaffner, 101. Tim Parton, 238. And Johnny Thomas, 57. It appears Eddie Saylor will retain his seat. Second Magisterial District, Bruce Hendrickson, 69. Michael Caldwell, 25. Joseph Arthur Jordan, 31. Jeremy Collett, 379. Charles Collett, 26. James Griffin is 76. Keith Allen Cox is 287. And it appears Donnie LaFevers will retain his seat. Unofficial. It appears. Please listen to the words I'm saying. It appears. Constable Second Magisterial District is David Lee Cox, 520. Robert Daniels, 448. Tyler Lankford, 301. It appears David Lee Cox will take that race. Magistrate District 3, Ben Hatfield, 117. Larry Apple Adkins, 303. Nicholas Allen Schaffner, 230. It appears Larry Apple Adkins has won that race. Kevin Barnett has unofficially won the race for 4th Magisterial District, 254 over Kenny Vanover's 248 and Glenn Webb's 72. Magistrate District 5, Donnie Sparks, 83. Joe Hammondtree, 451. John Trosper, 220. Ronnie Fusen, 261. Stephen Robinson, 85. It appears unofficially Joe Hammondtree has held his seat. United States Senator, Democrat Party, Vincent Anthony Thompson, 60. Amy McGrath, 338. Dale Lewis Romans, 13. Charles Booker, 227. Pamela Stevenson, 30. Joshua Blanton Sr., 38. Logan Forsyth, 43. It appears Amy McGrath has won in Bell County at 338. Mayor, City of Middlesboro, top two vote getters. Top two vote getters. It appears that Boone Bowling, with 1,089 votes, and Michael Orr with 376 will move forward. Travis Moody coming in third at 191 votes. City of Middlesboro Mayor, unofficial. All right. So we've got a unofficial final for the PVA, unofficial final for County Judge Executive, unofficial final with a move on for Mitch Williams for Sheriff, unofficial final, Josh Collett moving on to face off against Jesse Adkins, Democrat, Jay Steele final, Eddie Saylor final. Second Magisterial District is the one I believe that has the Democrat Party. So I think they'll be moving on in November. Constable is settled. Magistrate 3rd is settled. Magistrate 4th is settled. Magistrate 5th is settled. And there you go. All right. So that appears, I'm going to take one more walk downstairs and just make sure that I have not missed anything as the sun is setting on this fantastic election day. I'll take one more quick break from our sponsors, and the sponsors' names, very simply, are Fortner's Home Connection, Bowling Law Office, and Brooks Durham
Office of Middlesboro, Kentucky. Your injury is our case and our focus.
Hi, I'm attorney Blake Bowling. For the past 12 years, it's been a privilege to serve many families throughout the tri-state area.
Bowling Law Office handles auto injuries, premises liability, medical negligence, Social Security disability, and workers' comp claims.
If you or a loved one have been injured in an accident and needed an experienced attorney with a proven track record of success, please give me a call.
Hi, I'm Ashley, and it has been an honor for me to serve the families of my hometown for the past 14 years here at Brooks Durham Funeral Home. As times change and new traditions form, we are proud to offer both traditional funerals and cremation services for each unique life well lived. Brooks Durham Funeral Home. When you're here, you're family.
Hi, I'm Jim Fortner, owner of Fortner's Home Connection. We're your hometown source for appliances, bedding, furniture, recliners, and lift chairs, with all the brand names you could ever hope for and prices you will not believe. Come out and see us at Fortner's Home Connection, 2801 U.S. Highway 25, across from Casey's in the old Sears building. Come on and let me give you the red carpet treatment that you should be getting already. Come see me at Fortner's Home Connection.
Okay, folks. Well, I have just learned that nothing has changed. That's it. And what I'll do is I will have the printouts of the final tallies that you've been watching on the screen. I'll have those posted on our page sometime tonight. So thank you so much for joining me. Let me just do one more check-in with everybody, and I'll get us back to regular programming on the radio. Let me just see who's still around real quick. I hope we were able to bring this to you in a professional manner and that you were happy with the results. And once again, if there's anything you disagree with when it comes to who won the vote and you decided not to vote, your vote could have made a difference. It really could have. So, good night to Linda Taylor and Danny Jones. Who's won? Who's lost? Well, you're just a little bit behind, but we're going to have all of that all that information, if you're just joining the broadcast, we will have that on our social media page within about 30 minutes. We're waiting on the printouts. They're putting all the final information in the computer to go to Frankfurt. These are all unofficial totals. What they do is they send them off first thing in the morning, I want to say, and then it takes a few days to get them all finalized. But these are unofficial totals, so anything that you see as far as numbers, just know that they still have to be signed off on by the locals and by Frankfurt. Okay, have a great night. Tell somebody you love them, and try and be kind to one another. This has been a really nasty race in some respects. See ya. Thank you to our sponsors. Appreciate them. Brooks Durham Funeral Home, Bowling Law, Fortner's Home Connection.